Podcast is proudly sponsored by Adapt Jiu-Jitsu. If you're anything like me, you probably go through a ton of rash guards trying to find one that fits really well. Well, for me, Adapt Jiu-Jitsu is that brand. They've got these beautiful little vents under the armpits to keep you nice and cool during your rounds. They've got the little waistband here, the rubber waistband, so it doesn't ride up and show your tummy. And it fits tightly in all the correct spots. For me, makes my arms look bigger than they actually are, and not as fat as I actually am down here at the waist. So Adapt Jiu-Jitsu does rule for that. They got these nice shorts. These are the thick canvasy ones. I have the other ones, of course, that have a liner on the inside. So if you're wearing a thong, no one can see it. And just a big fan of Adapt Jiu-Jitsu overall. You can save using the code STUDENT15 at checkout, and it kicks a little bit of money our way to support the podcast. So hit up Adapt Jiu-Jitsu, get yourself some nice gear, and use code STUDENT15. Cheers, bro. Good to see you.
You too.
Now, I'm assuming a lot of people think that we hate each other.
We do, right?
We do.
No, that is false. That is mainstream media manipulation, misinformation.
That is fake news. I want to put that out there. That is fake news.
Yeah.
Although as soon as this is done, we're not going to talk to each other and we're just going to leave.
Yeah, we're just going to try kill each other in the gi training session.
Yeah. I didn't bring a gi specifically so I could avoid that.
Well, it's okay. We've got plenty of spare gis at Kumite.
Fuck. Dude, how you been? Last time, not last time, I've seen you since, but you have a spawn now. You have a child.
Yes. I've spawned a child into this world. His name is Achilles Russell Tabak. And he's about 15 weeks old. Yeah.
It makes me so happy to see all my friends having kids now.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's so...
I don't know, it's like everyone's growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I literally like that. I kind of share the same sentiment. Like seeing all my friends have kids, it was like such a like nice and wholesome thing, and it made me so happy for them. And honestly, I've said this to a few people before, but honestly, seeing my friends as dads was almost like a bit inspiring to me.
It is. I totally get that.
And it's like you just see like you also just see the joy they have from having their own children, and you also just see like how much it honestly changes them for the better as well. So
Yeah.
there's just it was just a thing that I was like, oh, I really want to do this. Like after a while, I was like, I'm so keen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like everyone who has kids, they never say, I don't wish I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
I want to talk about your subversion match.
Yes.
Like you faced the current black belt world champion, and you had a good match. You lost in the end, but like, it's cool that you can not get just walked over like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how does it feel knowing that you started out as a white belt and then you've come all the way to like a black belt level where you can actually be considered world class?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's actually a very nice feeling knowing that. I personally have like, and a lot of my close training partners know that I'm always very harsh on myself and always doubt myself, and I definitely have like definitely carry a lot of like imposter syndrome throughout my entire jiu-jitsu career.
Yeah.
And just that whole like I don't deserve this like exposure or recognition, et cetera, et cetera. So it is nice to know that I'm not like regarding that match. It's not like I just went in and got submitted like instantly.
Yeah.
We had some like good exchanges in that match, and it still wasn't a match that I was 100% happy with regarding my offensive performance. I still wish that I was, attacked more sweeps, attacked more submissions. The reality was I just found it very hard to actually get much going.
Yeah.
That being said, though, like from like a technical perspective, the one thing that always hurts to watch when I rewatch that match is when he went for that 50-50 armbar. I took my short hook out, and I really feel like that was like a really big mistake clearing that hook myself before we got reset, because I went to troubleshoot it the week after and realized that it's like almost impossible to get armbarred from that position if you have that hook inside. But I mean, it was just one of those things where like I placed so much value on that 50-50 armbar. Like that was something that I studied a lot leading up to the match, and it was a position that I was quite concerned about that and his black hole submission, that like falling
Is that the
triangle.
one where you like, when they invert, you like...
Yeah, you lift the head up and jump the rear triangle. So I was mainly concerned about those two positions, and he still managed to catch me in that 50-50 armbar. So it does show, you know, how good he is at that position. And the crazy thing as well is like just anytime you're attacking some sort of leg entanglement, if he picks up your sleeve, he can just sit into it, which is like, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty impressive that he's got that skill. But I mean, that aside, I definitely feel like I've had a little bit of a confidence boost as a athlete, you know, competing in that division at Worlds. I'm going to be competing there in about 3 weeks' time.
Sick.
So yeah, like I'm hoping to I just want to scrap a bit harder, you know, each time I compete, and you know, be a bit more offensive as opposed to, you know, especially with my skill in guard retention. I'm just kind of stereotyped as like someone that just plays supine with his feet above his head and retains. And I really am like taking that feedback and criticism, and I really am trying to change it. And I actually think it's really good feedback and criticism, because I do feel like it is one of the reasons why I lose a lot in competition. So I feel like if I can change that, I'll start to have a lot more success. So
yeah. Podcast is proudly sponsored by Adapt Jiu-Jitsu. If you're anything like me, you probably go through a ton of rash guards trying to find one that fits really well. Well, for me, Adapt Jiu-Jitsu is that brand. They've got these beautiful little vents under the armpits to keep you nice and cool during your rounds. They've got the little waistband here, the rubber waistband, so it doesn't ride up and show your tummy. And it fits tightly in all the correct spots. For me, makes my arms look bigger than they actually are, and not as fat as I actually am down here at the waist. So Adapt Jiu-Jitsu does rule for that. They got these nice shorts. These are the thick, canvasy ones. I have the other ones, of course, that have a liner on the inside. So if you're wearing a thong, no one can see it. And just a big fan of Adapt Jiu-Jitsu overall. You can save using the code STUDENT15 at checkout, and it kicks a little bit of money our way to support the podcast. So hit up Adapt Jiu-Jitsu, get yourself some nice gear, and use code STUDENT15. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Resurge. I used to think that skin infections were a part of the sport. Newsflash, they are not. Resurge helps me keep skin infections out of my skin and keeping my body nice and healthy so I can train for longer. We've got Resurge Guard. This is your everyday use. This is the guy you put on your skin after every training session, keeps your skin nice and healthy and doesn't let any bacteria proliferating. Then you've got Resurge Strike. This stuff is for any little pimples or any little scratches you get on your body that helps prevent it from turning into something that actually takes you off of the mats. Very proud to be sponsored by Resurge. They're a great company. They've got a bundle. It's $99 for the two of these here. It's the best value for your money, and you can save on top of that by using code Jake at checkout. So I highly encourage you to pick up some Resurge, as myself and a bunch of other people I know have had a lot of success using these. Use Resurge and use code Jake to save.
Well, speaking of guard retention, that was where I first ever saw you, was the Lachlan DVDs.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn, this dude's fucking sick. And then the way that you guys laid it out was really interesting, was where if you can't get your guard pass, you technically can't lose.
Yeah.
Which was like, it's not exactly true, right? But it's a good, the premise is true. Where it's like, if you can't get your guard pass, you can't get fucking scored on. You can't lose the match. Sometimes then winning can become tricky as well. But like, how did you develop your guard style? Like, who did you look to?
Well, I mean, I firstly, like, regarding like inspiration for actual guard retention itself, there's honestly like a really long list of guys that I watched over the years, but it honestly I feel like it started as early as when I was a white belt. I started in 2009, and roughly around 2010, I just started. I got exposed to like this concept of inverting, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. And you know, me as a 16-year-old, I was like,
I was gonna ask how old you were.
Yeah, I was 16 when I like a year into jiu-jitsu, and I was like, wow, so you can play guard without actually like facing them. You can be upside down. I just thought it was like such a cool concept.
Yeah.
And I just remember playing around. Like what actually got me, like the skill that got me into inverting was just from lasso guard, you make cross sleeve grips, and then you invert and you hit a triangle.
Okay.
And I remember as a white belt, I would just spam it, and I would rarely get the triangle, but I would just end up like spam inverting. And then I started to realize that I could apply it a bit more to other areas, like knee shield, half guard, as an example, if someone's really flattened my bottom leg. And just like throughout like the journey, like throughout the different belts, I started playing around more with like just like trying to play guard without relying on locking someone in a closed guard.
Sure.
I was really fascinated with this idea of open guard, like how the guard can be open, but I can still like have this connection to my opponent. And then as time went by, I started looking at guys like Michael Lange. You know, he's probably one of the first notable guys that played with the feet over the head, and he had like crazy hamstring flexibility. So stacking him was kind of futile, kind of pointless. And then guys like Cabrinha, a lot of the Alliance guys, honestly, were like the initial inspiration. So a lot of like upper body guards and spider guard, etc. And then later on, I believe it was like late blue belt, I came across the Meow Brothers. There was this video of them on, I think it was BJJF, and they're competing in Brazil. One of their opponents actually is Marcio Andre, which is super cool. So I started studying them more and more, and I started to see like different areas of guard retention come into play. And then moving forward, I started training with Levi in 2015, and that was like a huge turning point for just my entire jiu-jitsu, especially my guard retention.
Where were you training with him?
We were training at Garage Jiu-Jitsu in Bondi Junction.
Oh, sick.
And so I remember he would show me like specific things, like there were a few things that he showed me that really helped. Like as an example, like if you're playing double sleeve guard and you don't want someone to throw your leg across, instead of posting on the bicep, you tuck your foot under the armpit and then they can't throw. And then this is roughly around the time where he would actually do training camps at Alliance Cabrinha in the States. And so he showed me a lot of stuff from there. And then eventually, I think it was end of 2015, I believe, he did a camp, his first ever camp at Unity. And then a few years into that, that's when his guard retention understanding significantly improved under the tutelage of Murillo. And then I remember Levi coming back and bringing back a few like key concepts and principles that really stepped up my understanding of guard retention. And once I kind of got those, like, I guess, like heuristics of guard retention, like keep your head between your knees, don't post your top foot on the floor, like make sure you're actually framing the shoulders, etc. That was sort of where like I started to like kind of delve into my own sort of style, because the thing that I noticed is that I struggle to apply like consistently some of Levi's guard retention methods, and I think it was a combination of just me like kind of being a bit dumb and not understanding it well enough, bit of a skill issue, but then also I felt like I don't know, I've always like biomechanics wise, I've always favored like, you know, hinging positions and like positions where I can kind of really use my hamstring flexibility. In other words, playing with my feet high. And then I sort of started to kind of develop my own little system of like self-framing, high pummeling and stuff. And with time, it started to get a lot more sophisticated. But while I was doing that, I was still taking inspiration from many other athletes. Like the Meow Brothers were probably like the ones that I found the most inspiration from. Levi himself, and there's actually a few matches of Murillo Santana. I believe it's either 2015 or 2016. 2016 Pan Ams, where he's actually utilizing some like really cool guard retention sequences against like over-unders and some bullfighter passing. And kind of just like always envisioned myself moving in that way. And then, you know, eventually I met up with Loki, and then honestly doing the guard retention anthology with Loki helped me understand guard retention even better.
I bet, right?
Because a lot of it was intuition. There was a few things where I was like, oh, I think I know what I'm doing here, but he actually helped me break down like exactly what I was doing with my game, and it really did change the way I looked at jiu-jitsu after that.
Well, he's a super analytical guy. Like he's very systematized, and kind of the way he thinks about jiu-jitsu is textbook flow charty kind of thing. And so I imagine being around someone like that could help you put it into perspective. Because I agree, thinking about breathing, but like when you play guard, you're not exactly thinking about guard retention. You're just doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I find that could be really difficult. When you teach people guard retention, do you teach them heuristics or do you teach them specifics or do you do both?
I honestly do a bit of both. Initially, when I first started teaching guard retention, it was just, step-by-step techniques. And now I sort of do a mix of both where I kind of lay down the main rules, the heuristics.
Yeah.
And then after that, I start to kind of like funnel into like the different techniques and technical details. Especially like I've sort of become a bit of a fan of the CLA stuff. So I've kind of integrated that into my coaching a little bit. And usually what I'll do is I will like kind of give them like, a task-based game to play. And then in between the rounds, I start giving them specific technical feedback.
Sure.
Which, seems to help a bit.
You like fill the gaps in.
Yeah. Which like I know from from what I've seen online with like, hearing like the really hardcore CLA guys talk about it, it's like you're doing it wrong if you're mixing technique and CLA, the hybrid approach.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I definitely think that I don't know CLA well enough to fully apply it. It's something that I actually need to like actually put some time into and figure out.
Oh, it's so painful.
It's quite tricky, because it's like
so
I chat with a lot about it with Varun, because like Varun's really big on the whole first principles thing, which is kind of like first principles almost similar to like invariance in a way. So like like we sort of look at a lot of positions in that sense, like what is like the non-negotiable to make this position work.
Sure. Like the back, you need to be behind the elbows.
Those sorts of things. But regarding teaching, it's currently it's a mix of both. I
remember you had like a drill in the instructional that was really helpful, where you just retain your guard without trying to attach to people, kind of thing.
Yes.
And I definitely took that too far for a while, where I was just retaining my guard in competition and not attaching to anyone. It made me somewhat worse, but it was like, then I was like, I need to undo this.
It's like you really develop your skill to retain your guard, but then when it's time to actually attack, you kind of, that gets neglected.
Yeah.
So I find that's been something that I've been working a lot on, is actually undoing those habits. And
did you have those yourself?
Yeah, I definitely did. And I mean, one could still argue that I still have that to a degree. I definitely feel like I'm not the guy that just like has no grips and just frames and retains anymore. I feel like I'm actually a lot more offensive and making attachments. But that's definitely something that I've been working on a lot, because it's super annoying just having a 10-minute match and then realizing like, oh, I've made like one or two attacks the entire match.
When you have a big thing that's like, it's like an ingrained bad habit, how do you undo that? Because I know that's like, when people come from other gyms and they come to Hills where I teach, and they sometimes will just have a thing. I'm like, dude, it's just wrong what you're doing. Like, I can't tell them that, obviously. But like, I'm trying to undo the habit. Like, how do you go about undoing a habit?
I mean, if it's for myself personally, essentially it's specific training. And just this repetition.
You like beat it into yourself.
Yeah, basically, Like every time I'm sparring or specific training, I'm literally trying to go into that position and force myself out of that habit. And then I guess the same thing with coaching students. If they have a bad habit, I will literally make sure if I really want to get that habit out of them, I'll have to make them specific train. And I guess the thing that makes it a bit easier for them is that they've got me, externally like cueing them constantly and coaching them constantly.
Tell you the one I'm trying to get rid of right now is people are just insistent on locking seatbelts when people are turtling. Like, dude, if they 4-point, you can't lock a seatbelt, essentially.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to undo right now.
I see.
It's challenging.
Because they just slip off.
They just fall off.
Yeah.
Guys, stop. But like
you need to like get a cane and slap that.
I'm about to bring the cattle prod out. Yeah. Majority of the time that I saw you, it was mainly in the gi.
Yeah.
And then you went through phases of kind of going more no-gi,
Yeah.
like when you had like trials camp and trials coming up and things
Yeah.
like that. How do you feel the gi has set you up for success? And then if at all, how do you feel it set you up for failure in some instances?
So, let's see. Success-wise, I feel like the gi has set me up for being very positionally focused. So I feel like you almost feel like you have this like sixth sense when it comes to not just guard retention, but also sweeping, like getting to the legs and sweeping, attacking barambolas, etc. But then also passing as well. Just feels like I feel like I've got this very good base in passing as well as my guard attacks in no-gi as a result of the training in the gi. The gi almost acts as like a bit of a handicap, and then I feel like sometimes when I take the gi off, I genuinely feel like a lot more free, and it's a lot easier to move, and yeah, I'm just not getting tied up in like sleeve guards.
Dude,
and
it's so
stuff.
annoying.
So in that sense, I feel like the gi, it's kind of like, you know, in Dragon Ball Z where Piccolo takes off his clothes and you find out they're really heavy.
Oh yeah,
It kind of feels
I got
like
that clip the other day. Yeah.
Whereas regarding the failures, so a few things. Like when I first started training no-gi, I struggled with leg locks because, you know, you can reap in no-gi and you can also attack heel hooks, which honestly did make it. There was definitely a bit of a learning curve there. You know, someone would go to attack a straight ankle lock on me, I would defend just by turning my knee inwards, and then I'd expose my heel as an example.
For sure.
And also just like not being aware of like R-guard and half butterfly entries to the saddle, especially those like Kane Basami entries.
Yep.
So a lot of gi guys will go in and they'll try and smash pass, and then they will just kind of walk into that Kane Basami entry. Diagonal Ashi as well. So those positions were definitely like, it was definitely a bit of a learning curve for me. But once I sort of got past that initial learning curve, I found it was like honestly very beneficial to me. And then the other thing as well is, and I mean, our match at ADCC is a great example, is there's much less emphasis on like sticking the score in, say, a back take, mount, or a guard pass. In the gi, it's like you pass someone, cool, they turtle, so you'll get the advantage, and then you can quickly pull again and score.
Yeah.
Whereas, say, with the rule set in ADCC, it's not as simple as that. You know, you keep going until you can actually consolidate the score.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot more emphasis on, you know, finishing back takes, finishing passes, pins, I guess, as well as escapes. And so that's something that I definitely feel has the gi and the IBJJF rule set honestly neglects a bit more compared to, say, the ADCC rule set.
So what I was going to say, I was like, I feel like it's not exactly a gi or a no-gi thing, or maybe because maybe it is a gi and no-gi thing, because
I guess,
there's not really that many tournaments out there that are like gi tournaments that are not at IBJJF.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But,
yeah.
That's probably like a good segue where when we're talking IBJJF versus ADCC, it's like, okay, you could make arguments about whether a rule should exist or not.
Yeah.
Right, which is like the pinning the back on the mat in ADCC, which was like that's basically what saved me in our match. You mounted me and I was just like, you know what I mean? And then and then the different skills required for the different tournaments. So I don't want to say like what should exist or what shouldn't exist, but do you think probably in what you were saying, the emphasis on IBJJF is just to like getting to the general position rather than actually like pinning people and holding them down?
Yeah,
is kind of what held you back in our match in ADCC?
Yeah, it's like I feel like IBJJF puts more emphasis on like finishing the position like 90 to 95% of the way, whereas ADCC, it's like if you actually want to get these points for this guard pass, you have to go like 110% of the way to finish it, basically. You know? So yeah, I would say in that sense, that's like that's the thing that kind of makes makes a big difference with the rule set. Like I honestly feel like for trials last year, I feel like the way I was training for that, it was much more suited for, say, an IBJJF no-gi major.
Sure,
you
yeah.
know, that's actually something that particularly like what I realized last year during the camp for the trials. I did like about a month of no-gi training. I really started to appreciate the IBJJF no-gi system a little bit more, and so it's actually why I think this year I'm going to jump in no-gi worlds for that reason.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
You know,
I would love to see you in that.
Yeah, I feel pretty keen on that one. I mean, I did no-gi worlds in 2024, and that was like the camp was really fun, and it honestly felt like a very very solid experience as well. So that's something I want to jump in again.
Yeah.
I'll still you know, shoot my shot at trials as well.
For sure.
But like definitely like in terms of preference, I like the idea of IBJJF acknowledging through some sort of technicality that you've gotten close or to finishing a position.
Sure. Like the advantages, right?
Yeah. Like I feel like the IBJJF doesn't necessarily reward like your defensive efforts as much. I would say like ADCC. I feel like, I mean, it's the reason why there's such an emphasis on, you know, turtle in ADCC. Yep. It's such an important skill to have. Whereas IBJJF, it can be important, but at the end of the day, it can also result in you just having a bunch of advantages scored on you. So, yeah, it is an interesting one. The rule set does make certain positions more important than other rule sets.
Definitely. I went down like a little Eduardo Tellez rabbit hole the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does this guy win matches? Like, it's crazy to me. Like, the dude's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
Like, he's amazing. I was specifically watching his matches with Keenan, and like you could see like Keenan's frustration building throughout these matches. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How do I take this guy's back? But like, his game is so interesting for IBJJF because he would just bleed advantages.
Yeah.
But then in like the last minute, he would just like violently wrestle up on a double and put you down, and you'd be down 2 points. You're like, fuck. Yeah.
It's honestly like impressive how some of those guys make that game work.
Yeah.
And it does show the value in you know, kind of deep diving into those positions.
Yes.
You know, even though I would say turtle isn't as valued in IBJJF compared to ADCC.
Yeah.
There's still guys in the IBJJF that are like have made the turtle game work out really well for them. Like you mentioned Eduardo Tellez, but a really good example as well is Thiago Macedo.
Okay.
This guy's got like I guess you could argue it's turtle, but he more so 4 points.
Okay.
And basically what he'll do is he's actually got a very good single leg. So he'll either pull and come up on the single, or he'll shoot at the start of the match. And he actually ends up putting a lot of guys down with the single leg. But then for like the next 8 to 9 minutes, he just lets the guy like attack his back.
Yeah.
And he's so good at just 4-pointing and just holding onto a pen.
Yeah.
And, you know, the guys just can't score. And in 2020, he actually won Pan Americans at black belt. Just doing that.
Yeah.
You know, like it's still the reality is he still scored on all those guys, but which I think is really impressive. But it's also just the fact that he then just fended them off for like the rest of the match. Super awesome.
Yeah.
But he had Mateus Gabriel, Yanni Grippo. I think he had was it Sam Nagai?
Dude's a beast.
Do you remember the line? But it was like a solid. It was a yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a crazy lineup of world-class black belt.
The gauntlet.
Yeah, it was genuinely the gauntlet.
Yeah.
And he's like, sick, well, you guys aren't scoring 4 points on me, you know? It was really cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like a good example of how, you know, turtle can still be quite valuable in IBJJF.
Do you think, I kind of asked Lucas the same question, but I'm curious your take on it, is specializing versus generalizing?
I find that such a hard one.
I know.
Because
both are good.
Yeah, I feel like both are good.
Yeah.
Like, there's guys out there that honestly are like really good generalists. Like, I mean, would you consider, say, Joseph Chen a generalist?
I don't know, eh?
Because, I mean,
What comes to mind when I think generalist is Giancarlo.
Yeah.
He's like, he's very good everywhere. He's like extra good on the back.
Yeah.
That's kind of his thing.
Yeah. I feel like everyone, to a degree, ends up specializing. I feel like even as a generalist. For me, like when I think of, say, Joseph, it's like you could argue he's a generalist, but the reality is he's specialized in everything.
Right.
It's
Yes,
like
that's a good point.
great wrestling, great passing, great guard retention.
It's just great.
Good on the leg locks, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, so it's he can outside pass, he can pass through the legs, etc. He can stack pass, over under.
Like people who put like all their skill points in guard and leg locks and have no passing in wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like they win a lot, but then it's like when they come up against someone who's really good at just not letting that happen.
Yeah,
like,
they really struggle.
I have no tools to deal with this.
100%.
I don't know though. Maybe that's just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I think.
Where it's like you just found the guy who was just perfect to counter your game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm always caught between like, sometimes I'm like about to apply an absolute to a certain thing in jiu-jitsu, and then I realize there's actually too much novelty for me to actually.
I know. Yeah.
You know, so it's a tricky one.
It is tricky.
I mean, I guess like maybe it's contextual, like the answer to specializing versus generalizing. As an example, I feel like leading up to, say, 2019, you know, the years leading up to 2019, I felt like specializing in the berimbolo and crab ride was like the recipe to success. And honestly, I felt like that was like probably like a very good approach for that for that period of time. And I noticed that was just not a thing after COVID. I feel like everyone really leveled up a lot, and that sort of just got shut down a lot easier. So I guess if you specialize in a move for a certain period of time, and maybe that is the answer, but then eventually your division will catch up to it, and then you'll need to figure something else out. You know, where I'm at now, I'm definitely leaning more towards being a generalist.
Sure.
Like I'm working a lot more on like seated guard and wrestling up from guard and the gi and passing.
DVD coming out, by the way.
Yeah, DVD coming out. So like and the way I see it is I've sort of got this idea in my head where saying like a really ideal worlds run, I end up using like all the positions, you know, as opposed to just hitting one position on everyone. Maybe I have someone that's really good at shutting down De La Riva, so I use seated guard. Or I have someone that's really good at keeping their feet away, so I end up using double sleeve guard, you know. I have someone that's got a really good knee cut, I end up getting stuck in deep half guard, you know. Just pulling out, like using all the knowledge that I've developed over the years to like, you know, throw whatever I need to throw at each opponent, essentially. That's sort of, you know, what I have in my head. But I do think, though, overall what we see is that you get guys that are specialists in some area, some guard or some pass and or submission, and they're just really good at funneling the match into that position somehow. Makes sense. You know,
where do you think like the landscape of jiu-jitsu is moving? Because you see, like you said, pre-COVID, it was bolos and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then kind of there was a shift, I feel, where now it's like you can't get away with not learning how to wrestle. Like, do you think it's heading more in that trend, or do you think it's going to like swing back to bolos? Because I'm hoping it swings back to bolos because I'm investing my time in that shit right now.
I feel like it's just going to like, kind of like, it's going to be a cycle.
I agree, right?
You know, like it'll eventually come back to bolos, then, you know, guard's going to be like the thing, and then it's going to segue back to passing, you know, whoever's on top is going to be winning. Now I feel like it's like a nice mix of everything. There's like some stand-up, and I'm also talking in the gi. You see some guys, especially in the lighter weight classes, they're chucking in some stand-up, some seated guard, De La Riva, double sleeves. You'll see some bolos and crab rides here and there.
Yeah. Lots
of submissions. You'll see a lot of close guard in the gi nowadays. It's a bit of everything right now, but yeah, I do just see it as like a cycle. You know,
I remember like particularly when Gordon faced Mateus Diniz, and then everyone was like, "Oh, mount, mount, let's do this."
We've discovered a new position.
Mount.
Guys.
Have you guys heard of this?
Yeah, I do find that funny how someone will see like a big name hit a move, and they're like, that move has all of a sudden just been discovered for the first time.
Yeah.
I remember I think it was 2023. Craig Jones uploaded a video of him doing a shin fold from De La Riva. And people were coming up to me in the gym being like, do you see this new De La Riva pass? And I was like, the one where you open your knee out over the shin? And they're like, yeah, that one. And I was like, you know that's been around for ages. But I don't know.
Like, what are you, a fucking hater?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny how that works, you know. But I guess at the same time, I've sort of, you know, experienced that myself where I will be watching a match and I'll see someone do a move and just the way they do the move, or maybe it's just a move I haven't seen in a while, forgotten about. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I have the exact same thing. It just reminds you and sparks your brain.
Yeah, you get a bit inspired.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think as well, like after a certain period of time passes, like I remember the Brian. I was talking to Brian Glick.
Yeah.
And he was like, the position itself may not have changed, but you have changed.
Yes.
So all your previous lessons that you've learned over the time since you've revisited something can now influence the way you see the same position.
That is honestly like. That is probably the best way to put it. Like that is such a real thing that I often experience where it's a move that I've seen before, but I don't know, it's like I just wasn't ready to actually do it.
I so agree.
It's like that, there's like a quote, it's like when the student is ready, the teacher appears, something like that.
That makes sense.
That's honestly something that happens to me a lot. And I would say like great example is like with the seated guard. That's like a position that I've always known for ages, but for the life of me, I just could never play seated guard. And I mean, I'm not speaking as though I'm like a master at it,
for sure.
but it's just a position that I'm, you know, enjoying a lot more and hitting a lot more in training. But for some reason, it was only like a few months ago that it all really started to click with me.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, I find jiu-jitsu really interesting like that.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't change. The move itself doesn't change, but you change.
Yeah,
That inflects your decision.
Yeah, it's like the experiences and that you've had in competition and training leading up to that point, as well as just, I don't know, it's almost like your jiu-jitsu IQ developing.
Yeah,
that
really
kind
is.
of
That's
gets
a real
you to
thing.
that point. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Where you can actually do the move correctly.
Have you had anything like that? Obviously, you said seated guard, but was there anything where you're like, oh my god?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like another example of that was just R guard. You know, that was a position like I used to, when I was like, you know, peak bolo days and crab ride days and outside leg position only days. I remember I would look at people playing, you know, R guard or headquarters, and I'd think, oh, it just looks like such a structurally inferior position.
Sure.
And
You're like,
then,
that's headquarters. That's a passing position.
You're gonna get knee cut or smash pass, and then you know you just have this like moment where you're like, oh no, I think I understand it now. You know, but that's like years in the making. Like I remember seeing that position in like 2012 basically.
Sure.
And it was only in 10 years later, 2022, I started playing that position. You know, so I would honestly argue I'm actually quite a slow learner in that sense.
True.
Know? Sometimes it takes me a long time to actually come around and figure stuff out.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel that too. Like I remember there was things that that Allsop would show me, which he was supposed to be here today, but he has a comically large lip, and he can't speak. So.
I reckon he did those that procedure some women do to like get the fat lips.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's done.
I think he just like got his mouth stuck in a honey jar or something. I don't know. It's like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, he's like, oh damn it, I got cut and it got infected. It was definitely self-inflicted.
Yeah, for sure. Like he would show me something, and he'd be making me drill it, and I'd be like, this sucks. Like why this? I don't understand this. And then like a year later, I will spontaneously hit it in a round.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, he was right.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember an example, but that would happen to me frequently.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that is where this makes sense.
I remember having like instances like that with stuff like my very first coach showed me. Even as a black belt, there are some positions that I remember him showing me in like a private, and then it just clicks for me, you know, like a decade later, you know. It kind of goes to show like sometimes we're almost a bit of our worst enemy in jiu-jitsu. Like you're saying, you know, when Josh was showing you that move, you're like, this is dumb. Like, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
And then in reality, it's like, that was actually a good move, you know? So it does make me think sometimes whenever I'm, I guess, dismiss a position or a technique, this could be a bad idea, Ari.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Yeah, you
So-
got to like keep it in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
But there'd be so many things where it's like it solves a problem that you haven't run into yet.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is where I would struggle.
so true.
Where I'd be going through like an instructional, for example,
Hmm.
and then I'd be trying to hit like a niche sequence. It'd be just like the next move in the chain,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
This one doesn't work.
Yes.
And then I move on to the next one. But it's like, it's a reaction to something that, like it's a move that exists for a reason,
Yes.
basically. And so if the reason doesn't present itself, there's no reason to do the move.
Yeah.
Like I was say to my students, like I teach them hand fighting, like from seated guard, like 2-on-1s, all that sort of shit. But I'm like, you only need to hand fight if their hands are in the way.
Yeah.
If you can just fucking grab their legs, hand fighting is pointless.
Yes.
So it's like, keep grabbing their legs until they put their hands in the way.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Force them to actually frame on you and
Yeah.
prevent you from grabbing the legs. That is so true.
Yeah.
Well, but what was it? You said the move won't work unless there's a reason for it to work.
Yeah.
It's something,
It does-
that,
yeah.
that is something that is so true. It's kind of similar to, I heard this one quote. It was like a black belt technique does not require a white belt reaction. Something along the lines of that, where it's
Okay.
like if you're doing, like you're saying with that chain sequence in the instructional you're watching, it's not going to present itself. The move won't work if you're not actually presented with a specific reaction.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like I would say that like with my students, I'm like, I'm gonna keep underhooking you until you stop me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once you stop me, then I can do the next move.
Yeah. That's so true.
And I think it definitely, I don't know about you, but like it held me back in some instances where I'd be working away at a thing and I would just kind of make no progress on it
Yes.
because you're just forcing things. Where it's like, how do you feel about when you're working on something, ignoring correct responses because you're trying to look for the thing you want to work on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it almost takes away I hate this word, but the flow of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, for me, that's something I've run into a lot. Is there will be a move that I want to work, and I'll go into the gym to work that move, and it's getting shut down, and it is essentially because I'm choosing to do that move at the wrong time against the wrong reaction.
Yeah.
And so this is where I think this is where I really like the whole eco approach.
I was going to say that makes sense for CLA, right?
Is it like it actually allows you to, you're not going in with this like specific goal of hitting a specific technique, but you're just you're just working towards a goal of, say, putting their hands on the floor
Sure.
or lifting their foot off the floor. And then within that's where you start to realize, all the reactions and then all the moves that you can do off of those reactions.
Yeah.
And then within that, you'll start to find that one move you're trying to work.
For sure. Yeah.
So I've definitely noticed that there's been times where I'm like, I can't hit this move, and then I realize like, oh, it's literally because I'm going for it at the wrong time. Reaction is wrong, or like their head is too high, or their base is too wide, etc. You know?
Like if you show like a intricate breakdown from Turtle, where it's
Yeah.
like, bro, you just have to pull the hip down. Like you don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else to it. Yeah. That the whole
Yeah.
training is like really fascinating to me, and the act of going through and improving over time is really interesting. And I think it's interesting to other people as well. So when you're looking to improve on something specifically, do you go out and do a specific round from there?
I would say that's often what I do. If I won't shut up about seated guard because that's just been
No,
something
please.
I've
I
been
love seated guard. You're preaching to the choir.
And when I say seated guard, I'm talking like hugging the leg, like fully connected.
Oh, like
to
a
the leg,
full sit-up
as
guard
opposed
kind
to
of thing?
disengaged
Oh, I see,
seated
okay.
guard. Because especially in the gi, that's just been something that I've been finding seems to be like the missing piece in the puzzle for me. But with that is a great example where I've just often been throwing myself in that position, starting from that position in specific training. Excuse me.
You're good.
But
Totally.
also in sparring. If I'm doing an open round, I'll just try and spam that position.
Yeah.
And I find just doing that, those two things, specific training and then just intentionally working for it in open rounds, is really helpful. And then the other thing that I find really helpful is also just teaching that position in the evening class.
So true.
Because I get to see from a third person perspective the common mistakes that people will make, and I'll also start to see, what essentially I get a better understanding of the mechanics when I watch it from a third-person perspective, because I see like what is going to make the off balance work, and then I'll also see the reactions from, say, the top player in that instance that I need to actually make that move work.
Yeah.
So specifics, open rounds, and teaching it to your students.
Yeah.
That's like the three things.
So I want to talk a bit about where we are right now, which is Kumite.
Yeah.
And when you guys all opened your gym, I was like, this is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like, I was really happy for you guys because obviously you had the sessions at Westside.
Yeah.
And you were running those, and then you finally got your own space. Like,
Yeah.
when you were coming up and you would experience the gyms that you would train at, when you made this in mind, how much of the things that you learned did you want to like take, and things that you wanted to like leave?
Oh, I feel like to answer that, I got to think of like, I got to kind of go back to the days of like, being a part of a gym, because since like 2018, I haven't necessarily. Oh, actually, aside from the time in Melbourne, I haven't necessarily been like specifically part of one gym in Australia for a while. We've sort of had like a little system in place where I would always teach at multiple gyms throughout the week, and then we would have like the Westside session in the daytime.
Yep.
Yeah,
For example, for me,
it's a tricky one for me to answer.
spending like time with Kingsway. John runs the room with no music. That shit's depressing.
Oh, yes, I see. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say it's much easier for me to answer that question if I think of my trips overseas.
Yeah.
Because I found I got a ton of inspiration from, say, trips to Unity, trips to Artos.
Yeah.
If we're allowed
Like the
to
way
still
they
talk about that gym.
Yeah. That's how I think about it. Like all these little gyms I visited. Like,
Yeah.
Training with Brow, training at Kingsway. It's
Yeah.
like things that I would do and things that I don't like doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, what I absolutely loved about Unity was the pro training session. So for me,
Tell me about that.
the thing that was like an absolute must for me when I opened my own gym was I need to have that daytime comp session, because that's just something that honestly, like, I would say that training session is what made me kind of pursue jiu-jitsu full time.
For sure.
Like I always had this idea in the back of my head that I wanted to do it full time, but honestly, the first trip I did to Unity in 2016, that sort of solidified it. So yeah, like having that comp training session in the morning, getting a bunch of people together and not necessarily like all the time teaching them and showing them a technique, but kind of giving them a bit more of a self-directed approach, with a little bit of like guidance in a specific direction.
For sure.
Very hard training.
Are there any memories from your time at Unity that stick out as like holy fuck moments? Like training with particular guys who really shocked you and maybe people don't even really know about?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, and the thing is, like, a lot of people definitely know of them. I guess, actually, I don't know how much exposure he gets now, but it's definitely worth mentioning Matthias Lutz in 2016. I trained with him.
He had a match with Jeremy, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know I can't remember if it was Jeremy, but I do know he had a match with Gordon a while back as well. But definitely more of a gi guy, but he also did well in the IBJJF no-gi majors from memory. But that guy was just such a unit. Like, he's a middleweight, and I was a featherweight, but I was like a head taller than him. And I had this thought in my head that if I was taller than someone, I was probably stronger than them.
like a little kid brain.
Yeah, like, literally.
I always thought how tall someone was, how old they were.
Same. Yeah, I was older and stronger than him,
Yeah.
I just remember just getting like thrown around the room. I remember him collar dragging me, and my body was like horizontal in the air. I was like, this is wild.
Fucking hate the man.
It was just literally, it was it was wild.
Yeah.
He was just it was like such an intense role. He would absolutely smash me.
Yeah.
And he was also just like a real legend of a dude as well.
Yeah.
Like I remember the first ever like big water cut that I did was with him in New York as well, before I think it was the New York Pro Trials in 2016.
Yep.
Just like, really nice guy. And, like he was like, he like really like motivated you in the training room. You know, if like he saw you slacking, he would kind of like,
come on.
Yeah, he'd kind of G you up a bit.
Yeah.
And then on that note as well, Devontae Johnson, Bones. I remember, what was it? It was 2016. Yeah, that was the first trip. I remember walking into the room, and he was drilling with another guy before the pro training session, and I remember he was just like throwing these looks at me in between like doing a rep, and I was like, fuck, this guy's already very intimidating. And then the training session starts, and you basically just go straight into sparring. Like back then, the methodology of training back then was you warmed up with some drills, and then you just did a bunch of comp rounds, and then finished up with speed drills.
Fuck.
And I remember like first thing he says, he just goes like 2 to me, and I was like,
in round 2.
Yeah, but I was like, I'm Ari, by the way. And then I remember just getting pumped by him.
Was he big? Like, he's a fucking unit. Was he big back then?
Back then, he was middle heavyweight.
Yeah.
But like he used to, like back in the colored belts,
weight, right?
he was
85?
like around then. Yeah. But he was just like consistently in a caloric deficit.
Yeah.
So like he was like super lean and middle heavyweight. And I think it was like end of that year, he was like screw being in a deficit, and then he just went up to like 100 or something like that. Just an absolute unit.
Yeah.
Meow brothers, got to train with them a lot, like in pretty much every trip that I did. Really loved training with them. Again, going back to what we were talking about earlier on in the podcast about, you know, guard retention and inspiration for guard retention, the Meows were like, you know, obviously a big source of inspiration for me, guard retention and attacks wise. So that was like really cool. I'm just trying to think who else. Oh, Junior Casio. I trained with him a lot.
Legend.
Absolute legend. And insanely good. He's like actually really good in the gi as well. It's just that I feel like he's just mainly known for no gi.
Sure.
His gi game is actually like really good as well.
Yeah.
Just trying to think who else.
I got to watch him have a match with John Blank at the New York Open.
Oh yeah.
It was cool.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Man. Just trying to think the other names. Oh, there's another guy, Scott Perry. He's now a black belt. He was phenomenal. There was a few guys that either stopped training or took some time off, but they were like really good as well. I can't believe I'm going so blank now.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of guys from that era. And then I remember going back in 2017, and that was when a lot of guys from like Cicero Costa moved over to New York, and so there was like this new generation of Cicero Costa guys there. Like that's where Taliesin was. Pato was doing some training there, I believe. We had Wilson, Italo, Jefferson. Yeah, there's like
that's a roster.
Yeah, there was like a really big list of guys. Jonas Andrade, he was really good as well. He's got a gym in Barcelona.
Sick.
Yeah, like I saw like each year that I went back, there was always like, you know, a new generation of guys or a new face that was an insanely solid round.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, like honestly, there's so many memories from doing those little training camps there, and they were honestly like I never did like long training camps there, but I don't know, each time I would do like a little stint over there, it was just like such a valuable like camp for me.
You feel so sharp after a day.
I'd come back and I feel like I would like the months after the camp, I would kind of unpack like everything I learned, because I would always after each session I would always document all my roles.
As in like what roughly happened in them.
Yeah, because I didn't really know what else to do aside from that, and it would actually like it actually was really helpful for me. And I remember like months after coming back from those trips, I would actually just be unpacking everything, and I would actually start leveling up a lot more after the camp. So it kind of had this like, I don't even know how to describe it. It kind of had this like lasting effect, you know.
Yeah.
Of
it's like a strength boost from a potion.
Yeah, literally, yeah. So they were really good.
So we got the pro session coming up soon, so I won't keep you for too much longer.
Oh yeah.
But finish with some rapid fire questions. These are always my favorites.
Oh yeah.
What was the worst beating you ever received?
There's been too many. There's been too many.
Mine was still Lucas.
Lucas?
Yeah, mine was Lucas, yeah.
shit, there's so many. I've copped some pretty bad ones from Levi. I've copped some pretty bad ones from Rolando Sampson at Artos. Who else? I remember just getting like squashed by Gustavo Batista a lot.
Oh, dude's a unit.
That was rough.
Yeah.
Ty Rotolo. I copped some pretty nasty beatings from him.
Yeah.
It's honestly a very big list.
It's a long list.
Yeah. It's not like, there was just this one guy that, like, I've been smoked by so many people.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get around enough.
Yeah, you get around.
Yeah, you cop some beatings.
Yeah. So, yeah, just all of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Who was the strongest guy you ever competed against?
Strongest guy I've ever competed against? There's two. At featherweight, I feel like Diego Sodre was like one of the strongest.
Yeah.
And at middleweight, at Pampax last year, I came up against this Korean dude, and he was just insanely strong. Like
Yeah.
I won by ref's decision, but it was like I couldn't actually like get any attacks going. I got like one.
I vaguely remember that match.
Yeah, it was just like one berimbolo off balance at the end, but it was so hard to, every time I would connect to him, he would break grips and disengage.
Yeah.
I remember getting to his legs a few times and he would just like strip the grips somehow. But yeah, so that dude from Korea at middleweight and Diego Sodre.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have an album that you could listen to in its entirety without skipping?
Oh, probably the Faceless album by Godsmack.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one.
Yeah. So the guys that do like I Stand Alone, Scorpion King.
Oh yeah.
Soundtrack. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's sick.
So, yeah. Prince of Persia.
Shout out, dude. If you could have a dream match right now with someone from who's a past competitor, who would that be? Can be gi, no gi, whatever you want.
I always loved the idea of having a match with like Michael Lange.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I thought that would
Full circle.
Yeah, I thought that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Do you know, where is he at these days?
He's in Sao Paulo, teaching at Allianz Sao Paulo, and he's just like got a really big team of world-class athletes, from colored belts all the way through to black belt.
Yeah.
So he's doing like a really good job over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The last story, it's not even necessarily a question anymore.
Yeah.
Is I still, people don't necessarily know this. The first time I ever met you was when you came to the Hills 24-hour open mat.
Yeah.
Where I was trying to raise money for bowel cancer and all that, and I thought it was so cool that you came out and spent some time with me there, which was a very challenging time in my life.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you. I wanted to thank you personally once again for that.
Thank you. It honestly means a lot to me that I went to that. Like when I heard of that story, and I was like, oh, that seems rough for you. And I didn't think I'd met you at that time. And I was like, well, at least I can like show some form of support, And I'm happy I did that.
Yeah, I'm happy you did that too.
Yeah.
So when everyone thought we were beefing, and I was like, guys, there's no chance I could ever dislike this man. And I was the one who did the celebration.
You know what's really what's really funny about that story is afterwards. I don't know if Josh told you.
I don't know.
I don't even know if I'll be able to tell it with a straight face.
Yeah.
I need to like not be the guy that laughs while telling a story, but it just cracks me up. But I wish Josh was here so that he could just tell the story.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Josh and I, we went to get burgers afterwards. And it turns out, anyway, they shut the doors of this like little burger joint. And anyway, someone just walks up in the middle of the restaurant and they're like, everyone, I'd like to begin. And they start talking and they start giving a speech. And it turns out it was some guy's eulogy. We were not invited, but we just ended up there.
I did not know this story. Fuck, that's so funny.
So we're just awkwardly.
You guys crashed a eulogy.
And we're just awkwardly there, like eating our burgers. We're like, oh, we're not meant to be.
Oh, that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, so it's a bittersweet ending, to that night. But yeah, that's something that pops up in my head often.
Oh my God, dude. What a great way to end things. Anything you want to plug?
Plugs. Let's see. Firstly, Kumite Jiu-Jitsu, 111 Parramatta Road in Concord, Sydney, Australia. What else? What's up, Azza? I've got a bunch of instructionals on BJJ Fanatics. A few ones coming soon. I have seated guard, wrestle up instructional coming soon. Outside
Do you know when that's
passing,
coming up?
I mean, it's
Filmed.
up to the Fanatics overlords.
Yep.
Outside passing instructional coming soon. We have the secret Kumite Patreon, which is basically just all the classes we teach in the evening at Kumite Jiu-Jitsu. And I'll also be starting my own personal Patreon quite soon as well with short form instructionals.
Sick.
So yeah,
Beautiful.
that's it. Legend. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. That was fun. I try not to cry in the end there. Fuck me.